Death Watch.
Welcome back. So at the end of last game's session, Graham had been split from the party again, and Rohan had gone to scout across a bridge that appeared due to Graham's actions, and Fenrith and Casimir had heard him call out for help, and so they chased after him. When they finally gained sight of him again, they found him in front of the entrance to a mine, looking at some object in his hand with a shadowy creature about to stab him. Clearly, he's under the effects of an illusion. Graham, you had found a secret tunnel in that room where the Naga Guardians had stayed, but it was made for, a snake to slither through, so you had to crawl through it, and you set off into that. And so that's where we'll start back up. We have Casimir and Fenrith on a bridge, and that bridge extends for another 40 feet before you reach this shelf in the side of the rock face into which that mine entrance is set. So 40 feet to that shelf, and then another 30 feet along it to reach Rohan, who's crouched down looking at something in his hand right outside the entrance to that mine. So you can see, looking at the rock face underneath the area where Rohan is, that it used to be bigger, but you can see evidence that large chunks have fallen away for one reason or another. So you've got this shelf now that's just big enough for one person to move on at a time. So we'll go to Casimir. I think you were actually in the lead, weren't you?
I believe so.
I think you set off first. So Casimir, you see something about to stab Rohan. And what it looks like, I'll get you the description here. 1 second.
Can you share the map that we had last time? Are you able to share the map that we had last time, Brandon?
No, there's no map just yet. We're all in our imaginations right now.
It's too much stress on my imagination.
Yeah, you're spoiled by all these maps, and so I'm doing you a favor.
As long as I can be in mine and not Fenris. My imagination's safer than his.
Yeah, so Casimir, what you're looking at is a vague humanoid shape. I mean, it's got the vague outline of a man. Seems to be, from your angle and with the lighting, seems to be a little taller than Rohan, but you can't pick out any details. It's like it's composed entirely of shadow.
All right. Would this potentially fall under a knowledge arcana?
Yeah.
Okay. In the tower?
Yes, please. Okay. Oh, that's strange.
Did it not work right?
It says it's untrained.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's weird. At any rate, you still rolled high enough to recognize this as like it's some story that you might have heard Fenrith or even his teacher talk about, but there are some forms of undead composed entirely of shadow.
Mm.
I mean, they're wholly evil like any undead, most undead. And you don't understand how they're made or where they come from, but they do dwell, they seem to appear in dark places and have a hatred of the living.
Okay. So, I'll say to Fenrith that this is a shadow, right? Or a shade?
A shadow, yeah.
Okay. And I'll charge and try to attack it. Hopefully he'll know what to do more about it more than I will, but right now I need to get it off of Rohan.
Yeah, so you've got 40 feet to the end of the bridge, and then another 30 along that shelf to reach him.
All right, and I'm guessing the shelf isn't chargeable?
No, it isn't. It
Okay.
sort of curves around.
So I guess I'll double move up to 80 feet.
Yeah, so the curvature of it is such that when you get off the bridge, you can no longer see Rohan.
Okay.
Then it curves out, out some more.
Then what, half
And then-
speed type
Yeah.
thing? Okay.
hmm
So, yeah, I'll move 60 feet in total.
Okay. And then Fenrith, he shouts that out to you, Shadow, and you see then, I mean, you'd seen the figure, but now you understand when he says that word, it falls into place. And you understand that this is, it's not only undead, but it's also incorporeal. So, it'll have some weapons won't be able to touch it.
Okay.
Rohan, roll initiative for me real quick, will you?
I hope that's a sign for what's to come.
What'd you get? Oh, that's pretty dang good.
Yeah. Last couple of game sessions have been kind of plagued by low rolls, and hopefully this will be a session where we don't.
Yeah, I kind of seem to remember last session being kind of abysmal on the... No,
Yeah.
Thankfully, it didn't seem to really...
Did you want me and Casimir to roll initiative too?
No, I've got you guys taken care of. So Fenrith, your move. So you've also got 40 feet to the end, and then another 30 feet along that shelf that Casimir just made it to.
Okay. Can I see this shadow that he talked about?
Yeah. So you see it and you understand right away that it's a undead, but also incorporeal.
Okay. As I will cast spiritual weapon,
Okay.
and I'll have it appear next to that shade.
All right. It attacks right away, right?
Yes, it does. As I'm looking through to
Okay, so
get the bonuses real quick.
you will need to target it in the combat tracker. Give me a second to make it visible. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and target that and make a roll. I mean, you don't actually even need to target. We're going to have to do this manually, so do your attack roll for your spiritual weapon.
So it shouldn't get a mischance because it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so it'd be a hit, and then it also shouldn't partially resist that. So, all right, so yeah, you cast that, and then did you want to move?
Yes, I will. I will free action activate my haste boots and move 40 feet.
All right, haste on you. Okay, Graham. So you're down on your belly, wriggling through this tunnel. The Naga that you were talking to were actually pretty big. So it's not so tight that it's, difficult to move, other than the fact that you're, crawling. But you're moving through this tunnel. And so far, it's gone pretty straight by your reckoning. And the stone is worn very smooth, as if it's been used a lot and worn smooth from, snakes moving through here. Or it was just, polished or made by magic. It's hard to say, but it goes what seems to you like unnaturally straight as you're wriggling through. By this point, you've been there about a minute moving through here, and now the only sounds you can hear is your own breathing and the scrape of your clothing against the tunnel. But you haven't encountered anything interesting at this point. So I'll ask you, Graham, would you have your armor or weapons lit up for light?
No, I've grown accustomed to
Okay.
just going off the blood tooth vision.
Okay. All right. So, Rohan,
Mm-hmm.
do a will save for me, please.
Mm.
All right. So you're like crouched down and you're looking at this hat that Graham's hat, or his cap that he wears. And then you blink and suddenly you realize you've just got an old scrap piece of canvas in your hands. Who knows how old, but it's more dirt than canvas. It's impossible to even determine where it might have come from or what it might have been used for. And that's when you see the shadow standing above you, and there's a translucent glowing sword that you've seen Fenrith use a lot. The spell he uses, attacking that shadow.
Okay.
Yeah, so for you, what it looks like to you is a man with a fuzzy outline, basically. Like no details can be picked out, like about its face. It's just got the outline of a humanoid shape, but definitely you can see a black shadowy dagger in its hand.
All right. Have we fought anything like this before?
Ghosts? I don't believe
Yeah,
so.
I don't think so.
No, you haven't.
And I can't see either Fenrith or Casimir at this point. They're kind of at that bulge, so
You might be able to hear us.
yeah. But yeah, I'll call out to them. Be careful, there's a shadow. Although at the same time, I yell that, it'll dawn on me that that's Fenris' weapon, so he already knows. And I will go full defensive while stepping away from it.
Okay.
And I will draw my bow. Let's see.
Yeah, so from where you're at, right outside the entrance into that mine, you've got about 10 feet before the edge.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just stand up and take one step back as I draw my bow, so I'll only be like 5 feet away from it. And I don't know if going from like my kneeling to standing would provoke an attack of opportunity from it all.
Oh, yes, it would. Oh, yes, it would.
Okay. So with full defensive, would I get that for that attack of opportunity?
Yeah, as soon as you spend the action.
Okay. And it's an extra 2 or 4 for that. I can't remember.
It's 4.
4?
Dodge, yeah.
Yeah. So touch would be 19. Full AC would be 25 now. I don't see. How do you do full defensive when you do it?
I have a spell, like an effect. Maybe I can. There might be. He might have put the regular one in the effects.
There it is. Fighting defensively.
But you want. It's called total defense, is what you're looking for. So it's down towards the bottom.
Defense. Yep. There it is.
Okay. So, yeah, he will try to attack you. No, but he misses. So, as it swings that shadowy dagger towards you, as it gets closer, you can actually see that it's not really a dagger at all. It's just the shape of its hand. Its hand taking on that shape, but it's trying to touch you, but misses.
Okay.
All right, so you were going to step away?
Yeah, I'll take a 5-foot step back.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this thing is making like some pathetic effort with, one arm to fend off that spiritual weapon, but it still sees you as the only target that it can attack.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll step forward and attack again, just trying to touch you.
Good thing we did a lot of that thing that little kids do. No, stop it. Stay away.
Yeah, so this time it manages to strike you, but so you take 3 strength damage.
Whoa.
Always fun.
So
I think that drops me down into medium load.
Oh.
We don't do that, Justin.
Just ignore it.
Noted and done.
So I think it happens automatically on these sheets.
That's true.
And then Casimir, back to you.
Do you want me to put in that damage? It looks like it did it to
Your hit points?
to my hit points, so I'll correct that. So yeah, I now have a -1 strength bonus.
I'll, what is it? I got, like 10 more feet before I'm out there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll just do a standard move. That should get me close enough. I
Yeah.
believe. Okay, and I'll attack the shadow. How do I target from the tracker?
So on the tracker, open up the little offense button, the sword icon, or I mean the target one,
Yeah, I don't
and then
see that.
Just control click them, right?
Well, that can work too. Yeah, you can control.
Okay, there we go. That worked. Yeah, I don't know where that is on.
Or we might not see.
Yeah, you
that
guys might
stuff.
not have it.
All right, so I'll wield my trident 2 hands. Is it going to roll the mischance? There it goes.
So a miss.
All right. And that's my turn. I'm going to get messed up.
Okay, Fenrith, you're moved now.
So how far away are we from it? Or am I from it, I guess?
Yeah, so you moved 40 feet, you said?
Yes.
So you're at the end of the bridge, so now you've got 30 feet around that shelf you got to move.
Okay, so I'll move that 30 feet, and that'll put me 10, right? Feet away from it?
Yeah, at this point.
Okay. So I am going to attempt to turn it. So I'll reach under my breastplate, pull out my holy symbol.
Okay. Yeah, you do know these are that these are said to be a little more resistant to being turned, but still possible.
All right, so try the turning check here.
These things probably piss off Bloodtooth, don't they?
No.
No vital organs.
I think anything
Yeah.
is undead as
Yeah.
well as.
Use a hero point to redo that.
Okay. Yeah, so your turning check.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Where the Nagas. They might have made me mad too. Aberration.
As I can definitely not turn this thing right now. As it would be a 11 hit die worth.
Yeah, what was your...
Roll was a 7.
Okay.
So it'd be
So 11
Cleric's,
hit die.
Cleric's level -1.
Yeah, that works.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. So it'll start fleeing on its next turn then?
Yeah, so that is the most powerful you can affect. And now you do
What?
2d6.
2d6 plus my level and charisma then? Okay.
plus your charisma plus your level. And that determines how many hit die.
Wow, man.
What is going on here?
You had to jinx it, didn't you, Justin?
Well,
I did,
I mean,
apparently.
it's still enough to turn this one. Anything else for your turn?
That spiritual weapon will attack it.
Okay. All right, go ahead and do that.
What?
Does
I
it
see
have
what
those
it did.
mischances?
It tried to... Yeah, it doesn't have the mischances, but it also can't critical, right?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, just roll damage and I'll put it on there.
Okay.
Okay. Right, so your spiritual weapon slices into it again, and there's flashes of light as the weapon interacts with the shadow. And anything else for your turn?
Nope, that should... Oh, I'll deactivate my haste boots.
Okay. All right.
And that'll be it.
Okay, so Graham, you continue on this way for a long time. It's impossible to say. It's possible to keep track, but you keep moving, breaking it, working up a good sweat. You do notice that the air is starting to get considerably warmer as you move forward. And it actually gets to the point where it's a bit uncomfortable how warm it is. And for most of the way, the only thing you could hear was the sound of your own breathing and the scrape of your clothes and whatever. But now you are starting to hear another sound mixed in with that you can't determine what it is, just that it's a different sound with a lower tone. And eventually, after a few more minutes, you can start to detect words being spoken from up ahead. So right now, you can't, there's nothing to see, but you do hear like the odd echo effect of words being spoken. And as you move forward, eventually you see an opening, a widening of the tunnel you're crawling through.
I think I'd like to pause before, as soon as I can make out the words or make out that it's a language I don't understand. But if I have the opportunity to eavesdrop, I'm not going to pass that up.
Okay. Well, it's when you get to the point where you see that the little tunnel widens a bit. It's at that point that you can start to pick out the actual words being spoken. Not that you understand those words, but you can determine that words are being spoken, based on the sounds and the inflections and things like that from up ahead. But at this point, you still don't see any sort of light. And do a listen, which, you could take a 20 on if you wanted to wait long enough to. So it's up to you.
I'll roll it.
Okay. So you lay there quietly and you calm your breath and you strain your ears trying to determine what's being said. But try as you might, you're not able to pick out any individual words right now from where you are. But you can detect a second, at least one more voice beyond the first that you heard. So there is some conversation taking place. But from where you are, you just can't pick out any words.
Okay, I'll activate stealth mode and move forward a little more carefully.
Okay. All right. So as you move forward slowly, you actually reach the area where the tunnel widens out, and you see that it's little alcove where you could, at best, sit on your knees or crouch, But there is a wooden door set into the floor of this little alcove. It's got a rusty ring on it, a little floor hatch.
Well, I'll search around it, see if it's trapped or anything.
Okay. It is trapped. So you look around this and you see that there's a tripwire attached to a pin in the wall that would ring a bell, like an actual physical bell you can see.
I would have to disable it in order to get past the door.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that.
Okay. Yeah, so it's no issue. You can simply remove the pin that holds that holds the string and move it out of the way. So now it's at this point, as you're crouched down over this hatch, looking at this trap, that you can actually start to detect actual words. Let me make sure you can. Right. So you don't understand them. They're in a language you don't speak. But one of the loudest of the voices is it's like really deep and wet. It's got that sound to it. But you can't understand any of the words that one is saying. Let me make sure. Okay.
Do the voices sound like they're coming from below the trap door or further down the...
Yeah, they're right on the other side of that door.
Okay. Was it below me or just set into the walls?
It's below you.
Okay.
Yeah, so... oh, never mind. You do understand. So the language that the one is speaking is Elven. It's got that dialect that the other elves you've encountered have that makes it difficult, but you are able to understand the basics of it. It has its base in Elven. The other voice you can't understand, but you do recognize it as like a goblinoid tongue, right? But that first voice is saying that finally we can be rid of these and the trap has been set. That's the words you pick out from where you're at right now. That's, with the door still closed.
What trap are they talking about?
Okay, Rohan, now on to you. So you've been touched by this shadow and you feel strength sapped from you, and that spiritual weapon is still slicing into it. But also, Fenrith had pulled out his holy symbol, and bright light assaulted that shadow and covered it. And when the light disappeared, the shadow remained, but you can see a look of like the basic child's drawing outline of terror on where its face ought to be.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a step back, and as I take that 5-foot step back, I'll say, "Don't let it touch you. It did something to me. I feel weakened, but I'll still fire 4 arrows at it."
Okay.
Do I have it targeted? Yeah, I do.
When it's happening. Mischances.
That, and I think there were some criticals in there. Yeah, there was a critical in there as well. So that one won't. So it looks like 2 hits.
Mm-hmm.
My fire arrows are gone, so... Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so you just let out a barrage of arrows streaking towards this thing, 5 feet away.
Yeah.
And,
10 feet now, right?
yeah, and they all of them pass through it, but a couple of them you can see actually do some damage to it. Rip shadow away and carry it with them as they sail on past into the mine shaft. Anything else for your turn?
No, that'll be it.
Okay. So this shadow, as if it didn't even notice your attack, still has its attention toward Fenrith and the holy symbol in his hand, and it gives a sort of hollow shriek and flies straight into the stone wall and disappears. So now it's gone.
I will tell Rohan that I'll have to wait until tomorrow to restore his strength if it doesn't come back on its own.
Yeah, so you can see that he's like, Ron, you're actually, having a little trouble standing upright,
Yeah.
Not, well, it's just suddenly all of your gear just seems so much heavier, and, your muscles seem like you've done a heavy workout and, just fatigued. But yeah, you'll have that.
I like to think that I get all the standard wizard tropes. So you're over there. Oh, this must be what Casimir feels like. So weak.
I think all of us are relatively strong.
Yeah.
I think I was probably one of the weaker ones. I only had a +1 bonus.
But you got Graham.
10.
Okay.
I think it might have been a 9.
Raised it up.
Yeah, because the weight limits were killing me. Because I have to be in the light load to use tumbling effectively.
Yeah.
So in that circumstance, unless I'm playing a fighter, I never think about raising strength,
Yeah.
But it's actually pretty handy if you need to carry around like 10 more pounds.
Yeah. Like the difference in weight loads are just so useful. Yeah. Also having a handy detachable pack.
Yeah.
So Fenrith, you can do a heal check at least to see.
Don't make him do that. He'll pronounce me.
What do you remember, Rohan, after you went scouting?
I found something that I thought was Graham's bandana on the ground. As I was looking at it, that was when I called out to you. But then I snapped out of some delusion and realized that it wasn't his. I'm worried about him.
Yes. He seems to be able to take care of himself.
Like a wild animal.
Also, I'm working on a theory that all these bad guys he keeps overhearing are just split personalities caused by Bloodtooth worming around in his skull, because we don't ever hear or see them.
Yeah?
In fact, I think the only one that we might have seen may have been the halfling, but I don't think he was ever there to point it out to us.
Yeah, he wasn't.
So it's all in Graham's head.
That'd be awesome if it were true.
Graham was the halfling and the black dragon.
No, he's actually the elven sorceress.
What really happens is I just go and sleep somewhere for like 14 hours, and then I quickly get linked up back with you guys. But I was looking at the ability damage and what happens when you get wisdom 0 as you're in a coma-like state where you just have nightmares all the time.
No.
And since my wisdom low, I guess that makes me lean towards having nightmares more.
Okay.
Or something. So all of my adventure It's just a nightmare that I had in that Epic Link sleep session.
Graham, you'll wake up and you'll be able to brush your teeth.
I thought he was going to say that he sleeps for 14 hours and does the Tyler Durden thing where
Yeah.
like he secretly goes out and he's an evil character.
Yeah, like,
Right. So Fenrith, you know that this damage he's taken will, heal. Like his strength will return over the coming days on its own, even without magical help.
Okay. I'll let him know that
It's a good
Should
thing you're a dex
return.
build.
you'll be fine.
It'll come back at a point of at 1 point per day.
I can use restoration to speed that along if necessary.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be
'Cause,
fine.
I will warn him though that if we see it again, is to stay as far away from it as you can.
Yeah, I would have stayed away from it this
Usually-
time if I'd seen it.
As usually creatures killed by shadows become shadows themselves.
Well, that's a fate I'll try to avoid. Thank you for driving that thing off.
I'm sure it'll try and come back if it can find us.
Yeah, we best get going before your, I don't know, what would we call that in universe? Would it just be turning? Repelling?
Yeah, repelling or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Before whatever it is you do wears off.
Will the undead be gone?
Yeah. Pesky undead.
All right. So yeah, that's gone. And then you guys are standing there. So the, like I'd said before, the entrance to this mine looks just like, you would see in real life. I mean, you've got in this case, instead of wood, it's like iron, but the bracings right outside the door that lead in. And then you can see once you're about 20 feet in, it widens. Not when you're looking in about 20 feet, it widens considerably. And also you can see the beginnings of rail track on the ground.
Unfortunately for you, Rohan, I believe that splitting up is no longer an option. So you'll have to put up with us clanking behind you.
Well, right now, I think our biggest priority should just be finding Graham and linking back up.
Well, as always, I will continue to say that our biggest priority is stopping or starting whatever ritual we need to. And the dwarf, if he truly believes that starting a ritual down here will help, perhaps that should be our main focus. He'll take care of him. Graham will take care of himself.
You don't worry about a cat when you let it outside.
Yeah, I do.
That's like me. You worry about a cat?
Are we going to find you in the road one day?
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting.
Probably.
A dragon just ran him over, and
Okay.
we just find a squished
So you're going to continue in?
Yeah, I'll kind of start jogging inward.
Okay. Now, Graham, what would you like to do?
I'd like to eavesdrop a while longer.
All right. But you want to eavesdrop as you are now without attempting to open the door?
If I can hear them clearly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can hear the one that you understand clearly. I mean, you can hear the other clearly as well, but you just don't understand what it's saying. Okay, so Graham, you continue to eavesdrop just outside that hatch in the floor underneath you. And so you hear this conversation continue on between those voices. So one of which you can't understand, but the first, the louder, more grating voice, you do understand. He speaks with a tone of unbelievable arrogance. And he says, there's some back and forth, but then finally you hear that voice say, "You are all attuned to this jagged crystal, so the magic will not leave you when I turn the hourglass, unless you fall into sight of my large, magnificent eye. This is but a small measure of my genius. The interlopers have shown themselves to be most formidable and have defeated many of you lower beings. It will not do to take chances." Then the other voice says something that you don't understand, but you can definitely tell it's a question. and the first voice responds, I know not who won the contest, but it matters not. The dwarf king must not be allowed to complete his destiny. This is more important than the rage of a death knight or the machinations of the otherworlder. It is here that the king might bring the underground realm back into its rightful place, and this must not occur until my preparations are made. There is much work left to do.
My curiosity is piqued. I want to see what this person looks like.
Okay.
Open that trap door a little bit.
All right.
Or this entity.
Okay, so do this move silently. Let's do a stealth check here.
Can I sneak attack it?
A hind D. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
Security camera.
Surveillance camera? Locks in a secure facility?
All right. So you ever so carefully open this door a crack and look down into the room, and it's bathed in a blue light down there, and you can see a ladder beneath you that leads to the floor. So the room you're looking into seems to be or at least at one point have been like a quartermaster's room. There's weapons, weapon racks, and sharpening stones and grinding wheels. And so you can see a lot of weapons, finely made, covered in, but a lot of them are covered in dust or webs. But you're looking at, there's a table over in the far corner, a long table with a bunch of scrolls and sheafs of paper and books open on it. Those aren't covered in dust. They look like they've seen more use. And the voice is coming from a very large floating orb with eye stalks coming off of in all directions, and a massive central eye, underneath of which is a mouth with jagged teeth that are, each as long as your arm from elbow to the tip of your fingers. And, saliva's dripping from it as it speaks. And before it is a bugbear, dressed in heavy armor. And there's nothing remarkable about that one, at least certainly not in comparison with the voice that you hear. So it's floating there next to a jagged crystal that's about the size of a person, and it's floating just an inch or so off of the floor. And that's what's bathing the room in this blue light, and it's spinning in a random pattern and giving off waves of blue light that cover everything in the room, so that the beholder is the one that is speaking in the tongue you can understand. And right now, you just see the one person he's speaking to.
And this, you said this one had the damaged eye stalk? Well,
as you're looking at this one, you don't see a damaged one.
Can I pick out color details? I think
do a spot.
I need. Okay.
Right. So as you look at it, you don't see a damaged eye stalk, but you do see one where the great portion of it seems newer.
Okay.
And this one has the same. You recognize this one as the one you saw in that throne room.
So I'll keep eavesdropping, watching.
Okay. So then that bugbear says something else, and the beholder says, I will believe that mad fool is dead when I taste his flesh in my own mouth. Until then, we will assume he lives, and further, assume he has finally shaken the web of insanity loose and remembers his task. As for the elf intruders, they have shown themselves to be capable of causing no end of trouble, and the stakes are far too high. We must risk the otherworlder's wrath, if indeed he emerged victorious over the Death Knight. So at this point, someone opens the door and pokes their head in. You can see it's another bugbear, and they say something to the beholder, and then he says, "They approach. Ready yourselves. Wait if you can until the hourglass begins its work. They will be greatly reduced in power. Show no mercy, and remember, stay out of my gaze, for the power of my most magnificent eye is greater even than the hourglass, and the jagged crystal shall not protect you." So, let me put you on here. All right, can you see that?
No, I don't have anything, but
Oh, right, let me.
Keep picturing the beholder as Zoolander.
as you open his eye, he actually just does blue steel.
Yeah. Even though I guess, what was the bad guy? The one that trains the assassins to kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia?
I don't know.
I could picture him being a beholder. Will Ferrell.
Got to.
Yeah. Got to.
Okay. Now can you see, Graham?
No.
Why are you always causing me problems?
Well,
He is a rogue.
I'm just one of the players here, and you've said that about every one of us at different times.
Yeah.
So if you run a game without players, problem free, problem solved.
Yep. It's called writing a book.
Right.
Or rather just narrating a book.
If you listen to some game masters describe their problems at the table, you're like, yeah, you should probably just write your story.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right, I got some stuff now.
I think Brandon said that about every single character I've ever made.
Why do you?
Okay. So, yeah, you're obviously you're up that ladder. You're not in the room, but that's what the room looks like. So this door to the left is where they came in at and said something. So this beholder tells the one that was standing in front of it, go get ready, and then they leave. And so the beholder's in the room alone now, and one of its eye stalks turns and looks at this table here, this platform, and there's an hourglass on top of that little stone platform, and you watch as it lifts up on its own. He doesn't actually touch it, but two of those eyes are definitely focused on it, and he turns it over, and the sand begins to fall. And then as soon as he turns it over and the sand begins to fall, do a fortitude save, everybody.
In the tower or just...
Yeah, in the tower.
This is why I don't ask.
What was that for?
I need to take one level of rogue to even out my saves.
Yeah. Monk or paladin would be good too.
Well, my reflex is 2 behind my others.
All right, Bloodtooth, it looks like we gotta stop the hourglass, destroy the crystal, avoid the magnificent gaze. I think that's the gist of it.
Save our friends.
No,
Get no
that's not
credit
important.
for it.
Try to remember that, Bloodtooth. I hope you were paying attention. Was he speaking metaphorically?
Okay. So, Graham, you feel like a odd pulse move through you, and then that's surprising. That's not something you felt before, but then you immediately get that familiar feeling of the magic
Disappearing.
suddenly fading, just suddenly not being there, including Bloodtooth.
Bloodtooth? Oh no.
Then Fenrith and Casimir and Rohan, you feel a pulse that you can't see, but definitely you feel the sensation of it wash over you. But then you don't know what it was, and you don't notice any effects of it. So Graham, right after you feel that, then the beholder floats out of the room and disappears.
Time for Spectacular failure of used magic device on that hourglass. You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay. Then let's go to you guys.
Did you guys just feel that?
Indeed.
Fenrith, is that
Felt
something that shadow could have done?
No, that's something else. Maybe it's something that Graham is doing.
Graham. I didn't do it, guys. I was just near when it happened.
Hopefully he's okay.
All right.
'Cause
So
we've never had anyone die, have we? We don't know if there's...
Oh, we've had Graham die a bunch of times.
Well, I mean, die.
Dying.
Yeah, we've watched him.
who of you three would have like your lights on?
I would.
I would.
Okay. All of you.
Plunged into darkness.
It's a brownout. We need to talk to the electric company.
Well, what we need to do is we just need to synchronize our lights on and off, so that way we're not using up all the magical energy.
Okay. So Casimir, Fenrith, and Rohan, you feel that pulse wash over you, but then nothing. And now you stand inside the widened out area right past the entrance, and you're looking at a tunnel, a mine tunnel with two tracks on it. The iron is old and rusted, and the wood, chipped and pitted and rotted, but still generally retains its construction. But there you are. So we'll say, Casimir, what would you like to do?
Well, after the pulse hit, I kind of probably dropped into a defensive stance to see if anything else was coming.
Okay.
And once it sort of seems like there ain't, I'll kind of shrug to my companions and keep walking.
Okay. All right. And then, Rohan, anything you want to do?
No, just continue on.
Okay. You can all see the map, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fenrith, anything you want to do before you set out?
I'll ask Rohan if he's been able to determine if Graham passed this way.
Mm.
Yeah, I can do a survival roll and look for tracks.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so you're looking at the ground, but no, you can't.
Do I see any other tracks?
Yeah, I mean, you can see the evidence of people marching through this area in either direction, but the stillness of the air in here lets you know that it could have been a long time ago. There's nothing really to disturb the dust or the ground to cover any tracks, so you can't tell.
I'm afraid I can't tell whether he's been this way or not.
Could I start trying to work on a theory of what the pulse was? Like, I know I don't have enough information to piece anything to actually gather, but like start, I don't know, stockpiling like information or tidbits type stuff to hopefully put together some sort of theory later on.
So yeah, you can do a spellcraft.
All right.
Right. So when that pulse washed over you, you felt the the split second sensation of like the connection you have to magic being sliced through.
Okay.
But it was like split second, and then it was gone. But you can for certain tell that pulse would have deactivated magic.
All right. So I guess I could say I don't know for sure, but that pulse seemed to have some sort of anti-magic properties to it. It was an attempt to sever magic. Now, if that was the end goal, I can't say. It could have some other purpose, but that was definitely amongst the effects.
So just to kind of test, I'll draw an arrow and fire, see if the lightning effect is still attached to it.
We would know.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can tell.
So, yeah, can I check? Somewhere, I guess, between my skin and armor and see if those barbs are back?
Oh, the ones that power our magical items.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't needed those for a while. I mean, they're...
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is, so we can assume that this is a different thing than that, is what my conclusion of it.
Perhaps. It could have also just been a natural effect of the caves. There could be an invisible barrier that we crossed.
We've
We
crossed
were
a
in the
couple of
same
those.
spot when it hit us as where we were before.
Well, who's to say? These caves are ancient.
It was probably Graham deactivating the magic in the world.
Every
What's
time
this
he
do?
blinks, the magic goes out.
Blink pretty slowly.
All right.
Graham, don't close your eyes.
They're getting really dry, Fenrith.
Keep them open.
Rohan, any suggestions? Right or continue forward?
Yeah, right. You come up to this section now. You can see that the track splits off or to the right or continues on forward.
So if I can't see any tracks, I'll step a few feet down one passageway and try and listen, and then step a few feet down the other way and try and listen.
Okay.
So there are two of those listens.
All right. So, well, we'll do one first. So you're listening to the right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you step up here and you're listening in that direction. Now, Graham, so the magic has left you and that beholder's left the room. What would you like to do?
Time to jump down into that room and get into some trouble.
Okay. So here you are down in this room.
So let's have a look at that hourglass.
All right. So this hourglass is quite large, like as large as, your torso, say. And the sand is slowly dripping, dropping down into the bottom of it. Let's see, you notice that it doesn't set directly on that stone dais. It actually is hovering about an inch above it. So the wooden portion is like some black wood, and it has the way it was carved, it has a look of that it was like twisted, as if someone had clay and they twisted it. But that's what this wood looks like, and it's got bits of silver on it that hold the glass sections in place. And the sand is itself black. The glass is as clear as you could ever have imagined glass could be. But yeah, it floats there, and sand is dropping to the bottom section. But it's not working the way an actual hourglass would, because you're actually seeing there's a grain of sand on the bottom, and you're watching another one as it falls right now. It's slowly. It's like falling at way slower than gravity, but just a single one.
How do you work?
So, just based on your judgment about, by the end of your turn, that next grain will hit the bottom.
Well, I just want to do a search around the pedestal, make sure there's no traps.
Okay. So you go searching around this pedestal, and in fact, you find no traps, but you do find a little hidden catch that reveals a compartment in the bottom of it.
What's this? I think if we're in combat turns, though, that would be all for me. Might have actually had to start the search this turn and finish it in the next one. I think search is full round.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. All right. So that's the end of your turn.
Hog.
And so as you're doing that, as you're searching around that second grain of sand falls to the bottom, and that will bring us back to Casimir. So, Casimir, Rohan is moved up ahead, and he's listening down that path to the right. and you're standing next to Fenrith and looking further down straight, but then that pulse hits you guys again.
Okay.
So everybody do your will save. Did I say will or fortitude save? That's right. All right. So you're standing there looking down that path, and that pulse washes over you again, and you feel that same sensation now that you've keyed into it of the, magic being sliced away. But it quickly returns. Now, Rohan and Fenrith, the same is not true for you. You hear that pulse, or you feel that pulse wash over you, and then just like that, your lights go out. But Casimir, it's your turn.
Well, I guess it's kind of a moot point to inform you guys that pulse happened again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll test some of my other magic items and see if it's gone for everything.
Well, it would appear that was indeed some sort of anti-magic pulse.
Okay, so then Fenrith.
Yeah, that's my turn. Yeah.
Or wait, hang on. Casimir, put a spot into the tower for me.
Oh, spot.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Rohan, your lights go out, and you can't see very well at all. You've still got the light from Casimir, but that's the light you have.
Okay.
So yeah, you said you wanted to gauge your other equipment.
Yeah.
You can tell automatically that none of it. You're already weakened from your strength damage, but then suddenly your armor weighs more than it ought to.
Thank you.
So, right away. You've experienced this when you all first came to this part of the world. You were going through this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Does he retain his spells, or are some of those gone too?
Yeah. So the stored spells, they're still there. You just can't use them. It doesn't wipe those away, but
kind of forget the access word or whatever.
Pretty much.
Keyword.
Yeah. It's you know for sure it's there. It's sort of like a phantom limb situation.
So yeah, I'll give it a shot to try and cast dark vision on myself.
All right.
See if I'm able to do that.
Okay. So yeah, that's the situation. Whatever it is that that would normally cause that spell to activate, whatever, word or emotion or state of mind or willpower, you remember the doing of it, but it just doesn't happen.
Okay. And yeah, I'll turn around and say, my magic's gone. All of it.
It's probably because you're under the effect of the pulse, the field. It's an anti-magic field.
Yes. Why did the first one not affect us like this?
Resisting it.
Do you have any conjecture on whether or not it'll return on its own?
Yeah, it will most likely eventually wear off, but whatever this phenomenon is worries me greatly.
Yes.
And I would suggest we start hurrying.
All right. Well, I'll continue my listening down this way and then move to the other one, just as we had planned.
Yeah, you do hear something coming from that direction.
And I'll pull out a torch and start trying to get it lit.
I guess if you want, I could carry the torch. I'm the one with the free hand.
Yeah, Rohan, you hear some scraping again on the stone coming from down that direction you're looking.
Okay. Does it sound like it's getting closer?
Yeah, it's yeah, it does.
Okay. So I'll move back behind the rest of them, and as I'm walking back, I'll say something's coming from down that way.
All right.
All right, Fenrith, what would you like to do?
I would like to, I think it was a will save that we were doing to try and
Power up the armor.
activate or power our magic through that attachment to ourselves. Was that right?
Yeah, that's what you were doing.
I'd like to
then.
try and do that and see if I could get it to work.
I forget if we switched to, because I know Graham started being able to use magic device.
Yeah,
I forget.
it wasn't the same for everybody.
Yeah, I forget.
Graham was able to use magic. You guys were doing...
Was it concentration?
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
Okay.
Yeah, Casimir and Fenrith were doing concentration.
Do you want a tower roll or non-tower?
Yeah, put it in the tower.
Put it in the tower.
All right, so yeah, you focus your concentration and you remember in the pathways of thought and feeling of that process, trying to draw, basically trying to push through a barrier to reach that magic. And you sort of get the feeling that something's different this time, and it just doesn't work out for you.
Okay. Well, it was definitely something that needed to be tried.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so you try that. Now back to Graham. Rohan's moving back here.
Can I pull one of the lanterns out of the... Oh, shit. What happens
shoot.
with the bag of holding?
It's still holding. It's still working. If you remember, some of your magic items still work.
So I'll pull one of the lanterns out of that.
I mean, they still had their effect anyway. Okay. All right, Graham, what would you like to do?
So I'll finish up my search to find that secret compartment, and I'll take a look inside.
Yeah, it's just you find a catch and it pulls out from the base of that dais where it meets the floor, and it's basically a drawer, really, that you pull open, and it's there's a goodly amount of gold and platinum coins in there, and then there's a little book about the size of your hand. That's what's in there.
Okay, I'll pull those out, or begin to, and that should be it for me.
So, you're looking at the drawers like 6 inches deep and, a foot wide by a foot long.
Well, I'll start with the book,
So it's a lot of coins.
and then flick through it, and then I'll just grab my customary handful of coins.
Okay.
But maybe this thing's powered by gold, like gnome magic. If I remove it all, it won't work, right?
You've never seen a gnome. You don't know if they're floating balls with eye stalks.
That's true.
All right. So yeah, that's what you spend your turn doing.
Whenever you guys talk to me when you're out of scene, it actually happened in the game. It's just my characterization of your guys' voices.
Well, that was out of character too, so.
I don't even know your voice.
Yeah, so you pull that book out and open it, and it's got what looks to be fine dwarven writing inside of it.
Oh, great.
And, okay, so that's the end of your turn. And then another grain falls onto the bottom of that. Meanwhile, this, like it had been put into the background of your mind, this blue light that bathes everything in this room from that spinning crystal in the corner. But as you pull that book out and you're looking at it, it's brought back to your attention that this blue light's washing over you, and it's you're starting to have a physical sensation from it that it's hard to describe. It's almost like a restlessness coming over you from it, sort of a itch to your skin, as if there's some energy that needs to be used. All right, so the pulse washes over you guys again. Casimir, another fort save. Yeah, but it still doesn't manage to cut your access to it. Okay, Casimir, so you had felt that pulse go over you, but it didn't cut the magic away, and it's your move.
All right. I will move to here while they're preparing their lanterns and torches. Right? That's where you heard the sound come from, Justin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm guessing if this pulse is now a regular thing, that it's only a matter of time before my magic disappears, so I'll just ready my trident for anything coming down that way, like an attack. And that would be my turn.
Okay. So yeah, you move up there and get ready, and you can definitely hear the sound of something approaching now. It's just a steady thump of what sounds like footprints or, boot stomping in your direction. Fenrith.
So I'll, if I was able to get that lantern out, then I'll light it this turn.
Okay. Yes, you're able to do that.
Okay. Well, I think that is, if we're going turn-based, that should be the only thing I can do this turn.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so you got that lantern lit up, light shining forth. And Rohan, what would you like to do?
I'll be getting the torch lit. I always have one torch on me just in case.
That's why I just wear my clothing soaked in oil.
That would be a lot more handy.
Yeah.
And mimic the way that our armor glows.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the end of your light, Casimir, you see some bugbears holding spears trot into view.
All right. I guess I'll say, here they come, bugbears.
Yeah, you see one holding a spear and then a couple flanking him that have morning stars in their hands.
All right.
Okay. And then, Graham, what would you like to do?
So this blue crystal has made me anxious in some way.
Yeah, not like in a bad way. Sort of like the feeling you get when you've got a lot of energy and you're just tired of sitting around. Like that pressure in your skin sort of feeling.
Okay, well, I'll move over and look that thing over, see what I can determine
Okay.
about it with my vast lack of knowledge.
Yeah, so...
It seems to be operating on some type of magic.
Yeah, it looks to you like it's not made. It's like it was found, right? Because it's got an odd shape to it. It's got, structure jutting out in every direction with different lengths. And, some of them are broken and some are sheared. And, it's just a mess of a crystal. But it is spinning in what seems to be a random pattern floating above the ground there and giving off these waves of blue light.
My memory's kind of foggy. Did we find a material, although in a much smaller quantity like this, in the past?
Yeah, well, there were deposits of different colored crystals up on the surface, and then you found some down here as well in multiple locations. And Fenrith had used some, I don't know I think you were separated from the party when he did that.
He did, didn't he use some to recharge the wand a little bit when I got back?
That's right, yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, that's a big chunk of that. And, but I'll search in the area for traps, or I'll begin the action to do that, to search around. I have to complete it on my next turn.
All right. Yeah, so as your turn ends, another grain of sand falls in that hourglass. And also, as the pulse of blue light sweeps over you, like a switch is flipped, suddenly all of the magic is returned. So the pulse from the hourglass, you don't feel that or experience that, but this blue light washes over you. And so that feeling of pent-up energy disappears and the magic comes back. So, Bloodtooth springs back to his place in the...
Welcome back, Bloodtooth.
...void of your mind where he normally resides. Okay, so yeah, that's what happens. And then Casimir, another pulse washes over you. Yeah, and this time it cuts your access to the magic as well.
All right.
But your move now... You've got down at the limits of your sight some bugbears headed your direction.
Well, probably not even that, right?
Right, because you don't have the lantern. That's right.
So I'll just maintain my readiness for if anything gets within range, and that'll be my turn.
Yeah, so you knew they were coming, at least. Now, Fenrith, your move.
All right, I will move up to there. And I'll just set the lantern down. I'll set the lantern down.
Okay.
Probably immediately falls over, breaks, and starts a fire. But
All right. So, yeah, you set the lantern down right here.
Why are all of our lanterns fueled by white phosphorus?
That would make them great weapons to use.
Mm-hmm. Game terms, it'd probably just be like a permanent Mel's acid arrow.
Okay. Anything else, Fenrir?
no.
That was the one thing I was really disappointed about with Rune Quest was it's real hard for your lantern to just kind of pop and start dousing fire all over the place.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be easier.
Okay, Rohan, your move.
All right, so I'll move up to about here so I can still have a clear line of sight to what's in front of Fenrith and Casimir, but also be able to keep an eye on the other path. And I'll have my bow in my left hand, and for right now I'll be holding my torch in the right. Let's go down 5 feet, I guess, so I can, right there.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll have my bow ready in my left hand so that when enemies do come, I can drop the torch and fire as normal.
All right. Okay, so that's the end of your move. And then you hear, as if coming from all directions, you hear a deep voice that starts echoing off of the walls. And it basically it says, press the attack. But this is an odd voice. And like I said, it sounds like it's coming from every direction. Be like there were speakers and an intercom set up in this place.
That reminds me of Star Ocean for some reason. Stumbling into a future tech area.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so...
That'd be the big reveal, is that we're actually just lost inside of like a carnival.
Yeah.
Modern day.
We've been killing people that are just workers.
4 insane men were arrested today.
One kept talking about how Bloodtooth told him to stab them all.
All right, so you see the bugbears begin their approach, moving in a line towards you. And Graham, that's your turn.
So completing my search for traps.
Okay. Okay, so you don't detect any traps on around the crystal.
And you said that this thing was sort of floating
Yeah,
above the ground?
floating and spinning.
Well, I'll see if it very unwisely, see if it responds to manipulation by just giving it a gentle nudge with my hand. Like if it moves from its location or remains fixed there.
Yeah, so when you put your hand up and move it forward, there's like some force that blocks you from touching it. I mean, it's not painful, but it is solid.
Okay, that was it for me.
All right, so then you hear some mumbling, grumbling words again at the end as you're looking at that crystal coming from that doorway.
Oh, okay.
And then Fenrith.
I will ready my sword and shield
Okay.
and delay an action until something comes within range.
All right. Okay, so Rohan, you see them in the light down that way approaching, and but you also hear some steps coming from the north as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take aim at the one that I can see and say there may be more coming down from the other way as well, and let loose on that. I think I can just see that bugbear warrior one. So yeah, I'll target him and let loose. So, can I see those ones from up above too?
Yeah, so those are when you hear the steps, you look up and you can see those ones coming.
Okay, then I'll target those ones instead. Target bugbear warrior 3.
Okay.
And so do I need to take away all the bonuses from my braces of armor and the +2 for my weapon?
Actually, let's try this. Let's see if that did it.
Let me throw out a test roll.
Yeah.
All right, that's a test roll. I'm glad that was a test roll. It didn't take anything away.
Let's see. So you rolled a 2. Okay, so yeah, looks like you're gonna have to.
Okay. So -2 for the weapon, -2 for the bracers, so -4 to my attacks. When did it roll 5? Oh, that was okay. So I have him targeted, don't I? Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, it didn't show whether or not I hit him.
Okay, 1 second. All right, so yeah, you got. Let's see, 3 hits.
3 hits. Okay. And -2 for the damage, doing regular bow damage.
3.
There's the 3.
All right, so you got 5, 2, and 6 for damage.
Yep. Without lightning and without the +2 from the bow.
Okay. Yeah, so you send some arrows sailing down that way, and you see a couple of them hit. Anything else for your turn?
I guess I'll take a 5-foot step back afterwards, start doing my back pedal,
Okay.
and that will be my turn.
All right. Yeah, so this spearman here in the lead will move up first with his long spear. And he'll move to here and stab at Fenrith. But he misses. So let's make sure.
Because I think I got all of the bonuses removed from everything that was magic.
Okay, perfect. All right. All right, and then these the warriors with him will also move up, carrying their morning stars with their and shields. Yeah. So Rohan, you see those bugbears advancing on you, but in a sort of careful fashion, trying to stick close to walls and find cover. And then Graham.
Okay. So I'll look about for a place to hide.
Yeah, it sounds to you like not like the voices are moving towards the room, but that the voices are coming from just outside the room.
Oh, okay.
They're not moving.
Well, I'll just keep an ear out for him then, and I'll head back over to the hourglass.
Okay.
How do you work? So if this effect started when you were turned over, it stands to reason if I turn you back over, the effect will end. Makes perfect sense. I'll try to flip the hourglass.
All right. So it'll take a use magic device.
Uh-oh. You want it in the tower?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. This is one time where I kind of want to see a 1 just to see a magical mishap with this effect.
Oh, I think you don't even need a 1. You get it. Depending on what it is, you get it if you fail by 10 or more.
Yeah, but yours is high enough that it would probably take a 1 to fail by 10 or more.
Mm-hmm. Unless this is like some sort of powerful, like artifact.
True.
Okay. So yeah, you pick up this hourglass, and you have the understanding that it's magical in nature, and so you're intuiting the way to make it work. Part of which is turning it over, of course. And so that's what you attempt to do.
Yeah, I'll keep the thought in my head, I guess, as I do it. Because, is this just targeting us or all magic? I don't know. I haven't talked to a bad guy recently. But I'll keep the image in my head of, we'll just say bugbears. We see a lot of those when I flip it over.
Okay. Yeah, so you flip it over. And right away, as you set it down, it pops back up and starts that little short levitate that it does. And you can see the 3 grains that were in the top started moving towards the funnel to pop back down. And one of them is in the process of falling. And as it hits the pile of the rest of the pile, then you don't see anything happen. But Casimir and Fenrith and Rohan, you do. So like this time you get sort of the opposite sensation, like something being put back where it belongs.
Power up.
And you can feel the magic come back. Now, Graham, as soon as that happens, you hear the voices outside, like make an exclamation, and you see a bright yellow exclamation mark outline on the door.
Quick, hide in the cupboard.
The little,
Where's your box?
just hide in my bag.
Okay, Casimir,
Probably could for a while.
your move.
All right. I will 5 foot. Come on. There we go. And I will attack, what was that, Bugbear 1?
Yeah.
So is my magic back, or is it...
Yeah.
Okay. I'll wield my trident in 2 hands. I'll -4 from these attacks to add to my defense. Let me give myself back my strength. There we go. Ugh. All right. That's my turn.
All right, so you step forward and take these swings, and it manages to fend off with its shield. And Fenrith, now you've felt the magic flow back into you as well. And
Give me just a second. I'm putting all that stuff back on. Okay. So I'm going to 5 foot up as well.
Okay.
And then I will start attacking a bugbear spearman.
All right.
I'll activate my haste boots as well.
Okay, let me put that on you. All right, so you've got haste on you now. All right, so you step forward and you start attacking this bugbear, and you've got, let's see, looks like...
Looks like all 3 attacks hit, and one of them was a critical.
Yeah, 1 critical and 2 hits. All right, yeah, you step forward and 3 brutal slashes into the spearman there, and you've done severe damage to him. You can see blood leaking out of a gaping wound in its throat. Anything else?
No, that should complete it.
Okay, Rohan.
All right. So my magic coming back will probably be less of something I would notice because I'll be focusing on the enemies coming down. But yeah, I'll step out a little bit farther to get a clearer shot on that one that's kind of in that little alcove.
Okay.
And then fire a volley of arrows at him.
All right.
And probably be surprised when they come out as, 2 potential criticals.
Yeah, so you are quite surprised as the lightning ignites on these arrows and it streaks through the air and slams into that guy. So you've got 1 crit was not confirmed, but 1 was. So you got here a hit, and a critical hit.
Okay. So the critical hit should go out first. And then 2 more hits.
You still had Bugbear 3.
Yeah,
targeted.
that was the one I was aiming at.
Yeah, so that did it. That those arrows went right through its face and left a pulpy mess behind, and it slumps over to the ground in a clatter.
Okay. I'll say 1 down, but there's still more coming.
Keep them off us.
I'm doing my best.
Now you get the Sean Connery in The Rock speech for doing your best.
Oh, yeah.
So this spearman steps back and he screams, "Their magic is back! Run!" But he steps back and stabs at you a couple times with his spear, Fenrith. So we got 1 hit. So just 10 damage to you, but he's shouting for his companions to run.
I'll release that inflicts serious wounds that was in my breastplate.
Okay. All right, do damage. Yeah, so as this spear makes contact and you send that spell surging through it, and you can see some black smoke pop out of his skin above his breastplate, and he slumps over dead as well.
I'll give a growl, warning growl to these other 2 bugbears. Sounds like a cat, though.
Okay. Yeah, so these remaining 2 on your side scream and they take off running. So this one
Does that one provoke?
Yes.
Nice. Oh, it hit.
Yeah, it's a critical hit. Let's go ahead and roll damage. Okay, so you do a vicious slash across his back as he's running away. And so he goes trailing after his friend, dripping blood along the tracks. So this one charges you, Rohan.
Okay.
And then Casimir, you'll get an attack of opportunity as it passes this area.
Okay, I'll take it, and I guess I'll attempt to trip him as part of that attack. So this is a touch.
Let's see, touch AC. Yeah, that would hit.
All right, so his strength or dex versus mine.
All right, so you win that.
All right, he's prone, and I'll take my immediate attack.
Let me put prone on him first.
I kind of like the image of this. He's running down. He doesn't see Casimir. Casimir just kind of casually turns around and throws his trident between the guy's legs, and then stabs him in the back as he falls.
Maybe stabs him in the back.
Oh, yeah.
You good?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
That's a hit.
All
We
right.
call that a Casimir sneak attack.
Oh, whoops. That's screwed. No, that's right. But I forgot the D6. I was rolling the wrong one. There we go. So 20.
All right. Yeah, so he, you can see Rohan, he's, his surprise as he's suddenly tripped to the ground and stabbed by a trident. So he goes sliding on the stone in between the tracks there. And then, Rohan, you see another bugbear step out from around the corner down here. And this one is one of the heavily armored cleric ones that you've seen before.
Okay.
This one has a shield floating around it, in a pattern. And it's got a morning star in its hand and is stepping forward as if, it's...
So the shield, is it like the kind of ethereal shield that
No.
Casimir and I get, or is it like Fenris?
It's like Fenris.
Okay.
Yeah. So it steps around the corner down there. It's got like the part of its bugbear face you can see through the helmet is turned up in a sneer. And you can see it cast a spell.
Here comes the will save.
You don't need a will save.
You need a life save.
You have to have a life to need a save for it.
Oh,
And so far, I'm all business, so I have no life.
It casts a spell, and then suddenly you can feel a powerful wind blowing towards you. And you can't, see the wind, but it's definitely coming from down that tunnel.
Okay. Do I recognize this kind of like that wind wall that had deflected my arrows before?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Right, so that's what he does. And then Casimir and Fenrith, you hear a sharp voice shout some words of command further down that tunnel. You can't see who it's coming from, but you do hear a female voice telling, presumably, those bugbears to stop running and stop being cowards. Now, Graham, back to you. So, wait, sorry, not quite yet, Graham.
Wait your dang turn.
sorry.
Hey, Brandon, I had a question. If I used energy substitution on create water, I would create 24 gallons of acid. How would I do damage for that?
I don't think water's an energy as defined in D&D.
Yeah,
At
that's not.
school is...
That's I like the thinking though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That also kind of theoretically means you could create 24 gallons of sonic damage.
Mm-hmm. Just pour
It's just
out.
the container of rock and roll.
Yeah, you just open it and it's
I'm
Metallica.
gonna flood this place with with music.
With sound.
The silent spell will never be able to contain it.
Me and Travis were talking, was it last week or the other day, about how just owned mages would be if they thought they could silence like channelers from the Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
And then the realization from channelers once they found out that mages couldn't cast when silenced. They just wreak havoc.
You can cast a real life silence on your kid playing music too loud. When you walk in and they don't hear you, turn it off and get out the door before they realize you were there.
Just mess with the fuse box.
Yeah, that was always
Okay, now it's your turn, Graham.
my favorite thing.
So yeah, you had heard some voices now coming towards the door.
Now I'd like to hide.
Okay.
Wait, did I leave that? I probably left that secret compartment open. So I'll close that and then try to find some cover to hide behind.
All right. So point out where you'd like to find cover. So you got tables, weapon racks.
Is there a lampshade he can put on his head and pretend to be a lamp?
Just replace the hourglass.
Just turn it over.
Yeah.
I thought about it, but I'd still be standing there if I were to remove all the evidence.
No, I mean, like, you replace the hourglass. Take the hourglass off and use
What do I put there? Blades of grass?
You know yourself. That's where
Oh.
you're hiding.
I favored this area over here. Are those shelves of some kind?
Where at? Oh yeah, yeah they are. There's a row of three shelves that have like different weapon and armor care items on them. So yeah, you could go over there and hide. Okay. All right. So then the door swings open and a couple of bugbears stomp in and start looking around. So, they start looking around, and one of them's eyes pass over the area you are, but just continue on like they haven't noticed you. And the first one says, someone in here, in like a broken common.
Do you respond?
He's got to make a willpower test.
The next one's like, someone has to have been in here, but I don't see them. And they look around a couple more seconds, and then the first one appears to shrug as if he's given up, but then he stops and he raises his head and starts sniffing at the air.
Oh, no.
Smells like beholder in here.
Okay, Casimir.
All right. I'm going to full attack the one that's on the ground. I'm going to -4 from my attack to add it to my damage. Let's change the old armor rating. So it is still prone, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Misses. Is that critical?
Yeah,
Or is
okay.
it just a hit? I think it's just a hit.
Yeah, you've got a miss and a hit.
All right. So 8 to my damage. And that's, or I'll 5 foot
Ouch.
to there. And that's my turn. I'm sad it wasn't a critical. That would have been +16 to damage.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, so you stab him in the lower back with your trident there. Then you move forward. And then Fenrith. So you can still see a bugbear down there.
Okay.
Well, the
Those,
bugbears. But there's some voice that told them to stop being cowards.
Do you have that wall of blades thingy?
Yeah, I do. I'm just wondering if there's a gap. Right. I can't.
You always got to mind the gap.
Right in this area. I don't know if there's a gap in that area or not.
What do you mean
So
by
if I could put it, well, like a entry point someone could use. If I put it
I
over
see.
there,
I
yeah,
got you.
as it would be better to block it off, right there. But I'm not going to damage anybody by doing that, unless you're talking about putting it like over here, Justin.
Well, it can be either a circle or a straight line, right?
Yeah, I can. I'm just using this as a
Yeah.
visual for right now.
Either way, as long as it protects us one side or the other, or at least forces them to contend with something. Now, it attacks anything on 5 foot of either side, right? Or is it just when it passes through?
It's any creature passing through the wall would take damage if I make a circle, it has to pass through it twice.
Yeah. It's too bad it's not attacks within 5 feet either way. Otherwise, you could put it lengthwise down that tunnel.
Yeah.
Lengthwise down the northern tunnel might work pretty good. That's 5 foot wide, ain't it?
In certain parts, yeah. But, yeah, I was just using.
Well, I don't have to do it at the, because it's a radius of up to 5 feet per 2 levels.
Yeah.
I can make it as big or small as I want. Let's see. So if I drop it there, they've got to pass out of it no matter what. Anybody coming from further than that, seeing as how they didn't turn down that left path, I'm going to assume that that's like just a little alcove. But I'll go ahead and do blade barrier. That one is force, so I could turn that to acid. Would it deal additional damage?
No. We'll talk about that after the session, maybe. Now,
I got it mainly for my flame strike and fire spells for things that are resistant to fire. As I had just seen create water and saw the water descriptor, so I was like, oh, energy. But
so you're doing blade barrier?
Yeah, blade barrier.
All right. You're going to put it right where that marker is?
Yeah, as that'll be its representation. So it's anything or any creature passing through the wall will take 1d6 points of damage per caster level, so 12d6. They get a reflex save for half damage. And then Blade Barrier also provides cover +4 bonus to AC, +2 bonus on reflex against attacks made through it.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll put that Blade Barrier token there. So that springs up.
It'll last for 12 minutes.
Yeah, hit the cast button so it's logged in the game logs, because I use those sometimes to remember what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, so you cast that spell down there, and this whirling, circular whirling section of blades appears and starts spinning around. And it's completely trapped those two bugbears who are like looking all around in terror as these blades spin. And let's see. Anything else for your turn?
Yeah, I'll move down here.
Okay.
Is there a potential
that should be it.
Is there a potential for the damage to take effect based on the description of the spell? If you invoke this barrier so that it appears where the creatures are, each opponent takes damage as if they were passing through.
Yeah, that would be like if I moved it just a little bit over, or I guess forward, I could put it on top of Bugbear 1, and then he would get a reflex. But if I do that and he makes his reflex, he doesn't take any damage.
Yeah.
If he has to pass through it, then he still gets half damage.
Yeah, but it's not really saying even if it's on top of him. It's just he's in that area of the spell.
Yeah, and I'll leave that one up to Brandon.
And then it would get a chance to make its reflex save, avoid the damage, and appear on whichever side of the barrier it wanted to.
I was taking that one to mean like if you tried to drop it right on top of him.
Which you did.
No, he means like...
I know what he means, but he's...
Which is how I'm going to take it to mean. So, well, if the edge goes through... No, does it... Yeah, that's what we'll say. And you were going to move, you said?
Yeah. Let's move down to there, and then that should be it for me.
All right, so you move down here and notice there's still a bugbear on the ground that next to Casimir, and then there's some odd force of wind blowing down that tunnel. And it's actually got like a whistle to it now, and it's kicking up dust. Rohan, your move.
All right. So I'm going to cast Entangle down that hallway. 40-foot radius. Not there. Let's do it here. So yeah, I'll cast Entangle there. Cast and then Effect. Did that go off right for that cleric?
All right, so what... you're doing Entangle?
Yeah.
what's he got to roll here?
How high up are the ceilings here?
Let me look at your character sheet real quick, Rohan.
I feel like the eyes are upon me.
No.
So did you have him targeted?
Yeah, I had him targeted. I don't see him in the combat
If he's not
tracker,
on
though.
if he's not on the combat tracker, it won't.
Yeah, I see the problem. All right, so he fails his save.
Okay.
So put the effect on him there.
Can I do that?
Yeah, and your spell. Click on the effect button in the spell on your character sheet.
Yeah. Where did it go?
There you go. Find it.
Yeah, it says already exists.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
it did it automatically. Okay.
I'm going to move up and away, and I'll say there's a caster down there that's made my arrows useless down that hallway.
All right.
No, not much we can do now that you entangled everything down there.
Yeah.
All right. So that's entangle, and that's let me put you can move your thing in a second. That's a big radius.
Yeah, 40 feet.
Okay. So that's your turn.
Yep.
And that brings us to...
Is your entangled just on the ground?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it doesn't say that it's just on the ground. It just says in the area.
Yeah. So, reflex save. What is the reflex save for your blade barrier, Fenrith? What level
It's a
is this?
20.
Okay. All right, so...
It does say that entangle affects trees. It doesn't say that it only affects like the lower half of them.
Yeah.
So.
But, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I'd say within reason it would go higher.
Maybe the definition of like radius spread.
All right, so you can't see anymore, but you can hear Rohan and Casimir. You can hear down that tunnel like the wet sound of blades slicing through flesh and scraping across steel, and you hear a couple of different screams of agony coming from that way.
All right. So from what I'm seeing online, it looks like burst spells kind of just fill an area, but like spread will go around corners too, and just try to fill that as much of the area as possible. Is what it's kind of saying. Bugbear 4. He's standing up.
1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this guy... Yeah, this bugbear is going to stand up.
All right, so I'll take an attack opportunity on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The -4 from my turn is still in effect.
Okay.
Oh, is that a 1?
Yeah.
That's a 1. All right.
Okay, so he's going to... he's going to stand up and run away. So you would get another one.
I don't
if
have
you
combat
had-
reflexes.
Okay.
I think I'll just go throw myself into the blade barrier.
Don't do that. 'Cause I can create a bridge to the top of the ceiling, and you can jump off it if you want, though.
But you can't heal the 1, John. You can't heal it. That's what I
You
need.
can hero point it.
Oh, no. I only have 1 hero point left. I'm saving that. That's the pocket hero point. That'll be what takes me and like keeps me from dropping to -10.
Or helps you succeed that all necessary will save.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the way that we've been rolling when we do roll them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it'll be different that time, John.
Yeah, it'll be different that time.
It'll hurt twice as hard.
Okay. Yeah, so this cleric then that's stuck in the entangle,
Here comes Flame Strike, guys.
he's going to try to break free with a strength check. And he's successful, so he can move half speed. So he's moved around that corner, but you can still see him for now. And Rohan and Casimir and Fenrith, you can hear a blood-curdling shriek nails on chalkboard or tearing metal sort of scream coming from back down that tunnel, and the sound of something approaching very quickly.
Those blades are made of force. Are they visible?
Well, yeah, they'd
They
be
are.
visible. Yeah.
Okay. It'd be funny as hell if they weren't visible.
Just have people walk randomly into a meat grinder.
Yeah.
That's what that would
Well,
be for.
and then
most
Graham-
level.
It is blades of force. It's not like they're metal.
All right, Graham. So, your move now. They've both started sniffing at the air, and they can smell.
Mm-hmm.
No hiding will save you now.
Well, I have a scroll of disguise self, so I'll cast it, but it's vocal somatic. So what I want to do is do some bluffing in conjunction with that and see if I can disguise the nature of the spell I'm casting.
Make it sound like a sneeze or a cough.
Well, I'll say the actual words, but my thought was to put more arcane language sounding words
Oh, I got
before and after I'm doing the somatic component part, right?
you. Okay.
So let me give you use magic, which I think is 25 plus the spell level. Double check that. Or 20 plus the caster level of the spell.
Okay.
So here is that part.
All right, you got that.
And for the bluffing to go around it,
There's your bluff.
I guess we'll try to stick with it though. So yeah, I'm just saying, stuff I think I heard Casimir say before and after the actual vocal parts of the scroll I'm using. And as far as what I want disguise self to be for my disguise seems pretty limited, but I'm thinking I want to imitate one of the evil elves that we saw with the pointy teeth and
Was it red eyes?
red eyes and whatnot.
Scarification.
Keep my same basic size and shape,
Okay.
and make all my weapons and armor and stuff look like what they would have.
You got it.
And I want to grab a couple of things just quickly off the shelf for repairing whatnot, right? And I think that would be my whole turn.
Okay. Yeah, so you cast that spell and it takes effect and you start grabbing stuff. As soon as they heard you, these bugbears were like, "Huh? Who's there?" And they stomp over and look at you. And then you can tell as they make eye contact with you, they sort of blanch. You can tell that they take you for what you wanted them to take you for. Because they take on a sort of a weak posture, like a unchallenging posture.
Yeah, at their persistence, I'll assume the zealot's stance of Fenrith that he's adopted ever since his indoctrination into the ancient religions.
All
And
right.
I'll just be like, oh.
One of them, so the first one, he just looks, but the second one's like, "My lord, someone's molested the hourglass. See, look at it."
Casimir backhand.
So yeah, at this point now, though, neither of them will make eye contact now. Like, they just won't make eye contact. They're keeping their gaze away, but they'll just look in your direction when they talk. Anyway, so that's what
Which
that
one
says.
of them is the traitor then that turned the hourglass over?
There you go. Yeah, so it'll be the bearing of Fenrith with the tone of Casimir.
And that is where we're going to have to stop for the night.
All right.
For the day.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
It'll
man.
be Casimir's turn
Thanks, man.
when we start back up. Yeah, you bet.
They always hide the exit on this thing. Where is it? There we go.
I'm trying to remember. Did we ever decide on whether or not we can?
This has been a Death Watch production. Thank you for listening.